Beautiful Sunday morning. Got my coffee. Let's have a look at my Stage 1 V8 109. We're going to move the Volvo, we're going to move the Range Rover Classic, and then we can bring the 109 out. Well, there she is, my russet brown Stage 1 V8 109. Let's have a little wander around. God, she looks good. Galvanised chassis, hitch receiver, stainless steel exhaust. She's also got parabolic leaf springs on the back and relatively new, well, they're already starting to corrode, probably less than a year old shock absorbers. What she needs primarily is this engine oil leak fixing. There is a lot of oil around the gearbox, or the transfer box. This is the overdrive as well, and that looks very, very oily and wet. The handbrake doesn't work, and I'm guessing it's because it's probably full of oil. That looks very oily as well. I mean, there's oil dripping off the handbrake drum. She also badly needs new discs and pads and calipers. The brakes are not good, and they're especially not good when you have a 4.6 fuel injected V8, which has had quite a lot of work done to it. This vehicle is much more powerful than it has any business being. Right, well, the amount of oil all over this vehicle is quite concerning. We have some severe oil leaks. My God, even all the way up there is all covered in oil. There's the fuel pump, and even that looks like it's leaking petrol. That'll be costing me a few quid. Looks like that clip just needs tightening up a bit. Oh look, we're leaking petrol on that one as well. Wow. You can really tell that I didn't have a ramp when I did these jobs, because I've just been so lazy and I've not done anything under it. Let's keep going. I also need to sort the exhaust out. The stainless exhaust is just a fraction too low, and it touches this cross member, which is why I've wrapped it up. But that's not a proper solution. I just need to lift it up a tiny bit. Couple of mil, Doesn't she look good? Wouldn't she look good going overland in Bosnia, hitting some rough off-road trails? So here's the plan for this vehicle, having seen the absolute state underneath it. The amount of oil that's under there makes me think that maybe I've just a bit assumed it's been burning oil. Maybe the plugs are fouling because it's running too rich and it's not actually burning any oil. Maybe it's just leaking oil. There's so much under there. I think we're gonna get this down. We'll leave it on the ramp, but we'll lower it down. We're gonna do a compression test, and as we do a compression test, we'll swap out the plugs. I've got some hotter plugs than what's in it. This runs BP6ES plugs, which is pretty much standard NGK plugs for a Rover V8. I've bought some BP5ES plugs, and they are going to run hotter and hopefully burn a bit cleaner. That's kind of masking the problem rather than addressing the actual issue. The actual issue should be figuring out why it's running rich in the first place. But you can also just throw some hot plugs in, like, for... This is not an instructional video. I am not a mechanic, but this is how I compression test engines. I've disconnected the fuel pump, so we've got no fuel. I've also tightened up those loose connections, so I'm not just throwing money away, pumping petrol onto the road. I just moved the car a minute ago, so the engine's run for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and that's good. It doesn't need to be hot, in my opinion. It just needs to be, you want to have some oil circulated around the engine, which we have. Next, I'm going to pull all of the HT leads. I don't remove the spark plugs. I just remove the plug that I need to remove for the cylinder that I'm testing. I've never understood why people remove all the plugs. I've seen videos where people do it, and I feel like that will mask or, confuse the results, because if you've got a gasket or something and gases are moving from one cylinder to another and they're able to just escape out of the big hole that you've left because you've removed the plug, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. I haven't thought about it that deeply, I'll be honest, but this is the way that I test it. I can't see any problem with leaving the plugs in. It feels like a more representative test to me. I'm going to start with cylinder 1 and go through in order. It's not anywhere near as fouled as I thought, and it's got a kind of nice white. And I didn't change these too long ago, and I wonder if I actually just haven't really done enough miles on these plugs to know whether they're good or bad. Let's just crack on anyway, do the compression test. Clip him on there. Normally you have like a test, someone to help you, and they'll hold the gauge. And something I've also seen as well is people will stand here and they'll be, keep cranking, and when the pressure stops increasing, that's when they say stop. Again, that doesn't really make sense to me. Like, I want to measure the compression the same way for every cylinder. So I want to crank the engine for exactly 7 seconds is what I do. 7 seconds per cylinder, and if one cylinder can't get the compression in the same amount of time as another, that's something I'm interested to know. I'm going to get a stopwatch up on my phone, and I'm going to crank for 7 seconds. Oh, one other thing. I've got this hooked up to a battery charger. You don't want to have the battery lose charge and crank slower as you go through the test, because then again, you're going to have like the last cylinders are going to have lower compression because you haven't cranked the engine over as much because you've drained the battery. So that's another thing I like to do, is get a charger on the battery. We want to give every cylinder like an equal test. So cylinder 1, we have 10 bar. I'm going to release the pressure, and then I'm going to test each cylinder twice. Perfect, exactly 10 bar again. Just wrapping up the compression test now. All of the cylinders were within tolerance of each other. So I think the greatest difference between the highest to the lowest compression cylinders was about 6.5%. And the benchmark there is about 10%. If you've got more than 10% difference, you need to look into that. All of the cylinders were also above the 150 psi threshold, where the Haynes manual recommends that you sort of start investigating, and your engine's probably quite tired at that point. My lowest compression cylinder was 172 psi, and they were all around the sort of 170, 180 psi mark, which is not great, but it's pretty good. I'm happy with it. So yeah, we'll reset the adaptive values and clear the faults. It should have a few faults on it from our messing around. Okay, faults are cleared. We'll reset the adaptive values, so they've been cleared. And yeah, we'll leave that on for a moment. We should get some. A very fast idle. It's calming down. Nothing really excessive about that. There was no crazy suction, there was no blow by, it wasn't, lifting this off at all. Quite happy with that. Okay, well we do have an oil leak. Whether that's new or not, I don't know. But there's definitely a substantial amount of oil. Can't quite tell where it's coming from. I think we'll limp it back home. We're only up the road. And figure out where it's coming from. Right, let's see what we can see. It's dripping off the gearbox. It's just so much oil coming from so many places. It's really hard to tell. Oh, hello, are you... Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I don't need this right now. Thank you for helping. No. Why, when you get on the floor, does the dog have to attack you? Okay, can you get out of the way, please, so I can get out? I wish I'd lined this up. Thank you. You still helping? You're not really helping though, are you? You're not really helping though. You're sort of getting in the way, aren't you? Well, I've fired her back up. Just gonna see if I can see a bit clearly where this is actually coming from. Let's get rid of all that. That's all clean as a whistle now. and I'm running it, and I'm just waiting for some oil to come. Where's the oil? I will report back if we get some oil. I think what's happening is that the pressure is building up in the crankcase, and it's actually forcing oil out of the valley gasket. You know, you can like have it sat here running and it doesn't leak a drop of oil the whole time it's running, and then you drive it and it just starts leaking everywhere while you're driving. Wow. I just removed both of these from the breather system, and I understand their purpose. They're there to separate oil so that the system can breathe, but you don't suck oil in. And I bought these because mine didn't have them in, and I bought them because I was burning oil. But I just took them out and restarted the car, and it's running beautifully. What is going on? I don't understand. I'm going to tighten this up without these doodahs. Just going to put them there. Let's run it down the road without the bonnet on, see what happens, see if it leaks all that oil out again. So it wants to be doing 625 RPM. That's the idle speed reference. The idle air control valve is fully closed. It's 0% open, okay? The actual idle is not bad, 670. But it wants to be 625, and the idle air control valve is fully closed. So this engine is getting too much air, but that's unrelated to the oil issue, I think. It has an air leak somewhere because it's completely closed the idle air control valve, and it's still idling a little too fast. Okay. Very confused. Very confused. Well, she's running beautifully now. Right guys, that drive was fantastic. Like, their hairs are standing up on the back of my neck. It's so good. This car is, when it's working right, it is incredible. Like, you just feel like you own the road, you know. I just love it. I can't even put into words. Like, everything about it, it's the best bits of a series Land Rover. It's the best bits of a sort of Defender with permanent four-wheel drive V8 engine. Like, it's just incredible. Anyway, it worked perfectly. It did not skip a beat. It just drove beautifully. No popping and banging. No, just nothing. No issues at all. So much an absurd amount of power for a cart-sprung series Land Rover. Like, this is not just a standard 4.6 in there. It's been heavily modified, and yeah, just awesome. So stoked with it. And not a drop of oil has leaked out of it. So, to wrap up this probably very long video, my conclusion at the moment: compression test is good. The engine fundamentally is good. The oil, I can't remember what they're called, like the oil, not filters, but the oil separation swirly devices, they were blocking the breather system. That's pressurized the crankcase and has blown oil out of the valley gasket. So I probably need to change the valley gasket. But the next thing I'm going to do with this car is I'm going to fill it up with petrol, and I'm going to go for a 100-mile drive, and I'm going to see if it uses any oil or not. If it doesn't use any oil, I'm going to throw everything at this car and I'm going to drive it to Bosnia and off-road it, because I'm just in love with it. Again, I want to drive this thing everywhere now. I'm just so stoked. So yeah, that is my plan. If it drives well and there's no crazy issues that I can't possibly, I've got like 4 weeks till I need to go to Bosnia, and I have no vehicle ready at the moment. Anyway, if it drives well, I'm going to get suspension bushes for it. I'm just going to go over the whole thing, get it really nice, give it the TLC that it deserves. It's going to cost a bit in fuel, but I think it'll be worth it. What a roller coaster this one's been. Right guys, I will see you in the next one for more Stage 1 V8, Volvo, Range Rover Classic, Defender, etc. goodness. Cheers guys.